Good morning, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Forecast. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Friday, March 26th. The week is coming to a close. The month isn't too far, almost to the end of the month, excuse me. I hope you guys have all had a good week so far. Markets have been volatile. We're starting to see a little overnight moves here. We got the crude oil rip into the upside. And I think a lot of that might have to do with this whole Suez Canal blockage right now. One of the things that they're talking about is this could take weeks now. We saw yesterday, possibly on Sunday, I've been seeing a little Twitter account. I don't use Twitter, but a friend of mine sent me a link to it or a picture of it, and apparently there's a guy down there with a Twitter account, him and his bulldozer, and he's just trying, or excavator, and he's just trying to dig out as best he can. So this could be weeks. They're saying this is a $400 million an hour loss with this blockage here. So ships are rerouting. They are starting to add a couple weeks onto their trips and working down around the Cape Horn of Africa. So this is a big deal. We want to keep an eye on that, and going to continue to keep tabs there. A couple other things going on. Yields. We got a big pop in them overnight here. So yields are up. So notes and bonds are down. No shocker there. We've got this one is pretty wild. WeWork signs a new deal to go public. Well, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they were about to go public for about $50 billion. Well, today they're saying about $9 billion. That's pretty incredible. And then GameStop continues to be in this conversation, continues to be the big talker, up about 50% yesterday. We talked about that yesterday afternoon. Astronomical story, kind of hard to believe. I'm having a blast watching it. I really have no words for what's going on there. And then that's what we got, major stuff going on in the news. Really, to me, the big thing is the Suez Canal blockage. It's saying $400 million an hour in goods. So hopefully they can get something figured out ASAP. I laid in bed last night. I was honestly thinking about this. I've done some towing. I've hauled big things. I've moved big objects in the way of stuff. I've done some stuff. Nowhere to near the scale of even like the tip, the little bulbous of the front end of the ship here. But I'm very curious to how they're going to get this thing unstuck. It is fully weighted down. It is a fully stocked ship. How many tugs is it going to take to hook onto it? Also, can you hook up a line to the bow? Because you know the weight, the counterweight up top is just so heavy that if you start tugging on that, but the hull, the keel of the boat stays in the mud, are you just going to tip the thing over? I was running so many thoughts through my head on this thing last night, and I really just don't even know what to think. This is astronomical. This is something like we haven't seen before. And it just has me so intrigued. I'm going to continue to watch the story and keep an eye on things. Want to say good morning to everyone. Sorry about that. Anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox there. Say good morning to everyone. Kevin, Lamis, Adam, Rick, Troy, Shady, Brian, Mike, Jonathan, George, Trading Research, Laura, Andres, Jason. Yes, Friday. Murph, good to see you. Clarence, Ashton, good to see all of you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here, see what we got going on today. And let's see if we can find some good opportunities in these markets. Yesterday, I think we did pretty well. We found some great areas we talked about. We found some good opportunity off those levels. Profit time, good to see you as well. Let's see if we can find some of those today. And again, remember, it's not just about the finite level. It's reacting at those areas, finding ways to execute that works within your strategy. Not everyone's going to be able to utilize them. I know for a fact yesterday, some of them I used, some of them I wasn't able to use, and that's how this stuff goes. Chip, Chris, Patrick, former Vice President Joe Biden. All right. He joined us after his big press conference yesterday. Joseph, shady ship will be around. Oh, yes, it will definitely be. I don't think they're going to stop. Palmetto and Takic one in. Good morning, everybody. All right, like I said, let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here, and let's get down to business. All right, crude oil continues to be trading in this high dollar range area, really keeping us on our toes. Remember, we've got, I should fix this. I should fix my weekly kickoff levels. We got weekly kickoff high all the way up here at 63.80. You know, I never use these daily charts in the recap, so when I do use them, I always forget to make sure everything's updated properly. And we got weekly kickoff low down here at 58.80. So, first level we're going to talk about, 58.80. If this thing rolls over, we can look down towards 58.80. Now, we've got bigger questions of what's going on in the grand scheme of things. It is Friday. We have had a down week. Maybe people are looking for some profit taking. There's a lot to consider here, but I think the key is we go ahead and take a look at our 30-minute chart, which is showing a beautiful trend to the upside. We just had a nice little pop here. Now that we've opened, direction is taking off. So the first thing we're looking at, where are some key levels to look at up above? Well, we've got an unchecked point of control right here, 60.85. 60.85 is that unchecked point of control. From there, where I'm looking between 16.20 and 16.40. I like this gap here. I really do. We've got light volume approaching it. We got a high volume node at approximately 61.22. That's an area I'm going to be looking for opportunity if this market gets through that point of control down at 86. Now, beyond there, where can this thing go? Well, I'm going to throw out the last level that we talked about yesterday. Wasn't too far off. It was closer to that $62. It was approximately 61.80 to 61.90. But if this thing turns around, want to make note of where we're at and what we've got down below. We're going to run through just a couple simple data points. Yesterday's value area high, 58.68, just shy of weekly kickoff low. Again, weekly kickoff low, 58.80. That's where we saw that multiple times reaction yesterday. Good opportunity at that price. So if this thing starts to, quote unquote, spill over, that's a direction we can start to look. And don't forget settlement price down here at 58.56. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P. Oh, wait. Remember, I didn't build that new chart out in the settings. Here we go. S&P 500, which is still maintaining directional move to the upside, which we got that bounce yesterday right to the tick on our 50-day exponential moving average, just so you guys can see these things. Now, as we look a little bit tighter, I've been running some of these moving averages. They've been really helpful for me when trading the equity markets as of late. Like we said yesterday, that 100-day exponential moving average works really nicely on the Nasdaq. We're going to see if we can go ahead and throw that on the daily chart of the Nasdaq when we get there. But now we're working our way a little bit higher. We've got our 20-period or 20-day exponential moving average all the way up here at 38.95. 38.95. So that's going to be a key level for me. That's going to be 100% a key level for me if this market starts to turn to the downside. Obviously, we have room to the upside. We do have weekly kickoff. Let me double check it. Here we go. We do have weekly kickoff high all the way up here at 40.10. It's going to take some work. It's going to take a lot of work to get there. I don't think we're getting there today, but we do have weekly kickoff low. Let's make sure we just drop that on down here at 38.48. Well, way down there. There we go. Oops. Let's update this. We'll make it black. Set it as a ray. And we'll save. And there we go. We got weekly kickoff low down here at 38.48. So let's go ahead and look a little bit closer, see what we got going on. So first and foremost, settlement price down here at 39 even, or 3,900 half. 3,900 half. That's a weird way of saying it. 3,900 half weekly settlement price. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to look at when these things open up. Do we make a move towards settlement price? Can we close the gap down towards settlement price? Always the first thing I'm looking at. Just so you guys know, that's the first move I look at whenever a market opens up. Right now, it's not showing so much wanting to open up and move downward, but we've got key levels to look at. Remember, I've been saying all the time on our market recap, overnight highs, overnight lows, prior day highs, prior day lows, value area highs, value area lows, 6 levels. Creates huge opportunity. So the first one we're going to look at is last night's overnight high, 39.21 half, all the way up here, 39.21 half. Look for an opportunity there if this market gets up there. Not saying one side long or short, but could present an opportunity. Now, the next question is, are we going to start to, what do we look at when we're up here? Well, as this market is moving, we're starting to see 1 check, 2 check, 3 check, 4 check. Do we get a 5th? Or do we start to break through? That's going to be the question if we get back up towards that level. So, a couple things to pay attention to there. Now, like I said, if we rotate over, where are some areas to keep an eye on? Well, 38.80, we talked about that one yesterday. We've got that 20-day exponential moving average down here at 38.80. What did we say? 38.85, 38.95. Drawing a blank. 38.95. So we got a lot going on in this range from 3,900 down to 3,980. So we may find great opportunity if this market rotates lower down towards that settlement price. Next, let's go ahead and look over at the Nasdaq. All right, and here we go. Let's go ahead and adjust our EMA here. And like I said, this was the 100 that I'm looking at on my other charts. Our 100 EMA is right to where we came to yesterday. My other charts show it slightly different right now, but nonetheless, we do have an opportunity. This is something to pay attention to. No, I guess we're spot on. My bad. Our 100 EMA here, down here at 12,622, and below, up above that though, to get through here, to get down here. I wanted to point this out. I wanted to make this a little bit more prevalent. This 12,700 has been an extremely reactive level every time the market comes down to it. We saw the bounce yesterday. We've seen the breaks through. We've seen the catches. We've seen the support. We've seen the resistance from it. As we continue to trade around that level, I think we can continue to look for great opportunity. Now, Nasdaq, like we know, has been extremely volatile here as of late. Has been creating some bigger runs. So be patient. Make sure you're trading this in a proper fashion. If you're in the simulated environment and you're getting 5s and 10 lots filled, know that that's not going to be realistic in the live market. When we look at the dome over on the Nasdaq, just to pull one up right now, I'm seeing if my computer on the other side will pull it up. With how thin this market is, when we look over at the Nasdaq, and I'll touch on this afterwards. Sorry, I digress. We'll touch on it at the end. All right, so like we were saying, Nasdaq is working its way towards settlement. It has closed that gap. What I want to look at is that same range that we pointed out yesterday morning, right down here from 700 down to 670. That was an area we looked at yesterday. Remember, we have the 100-day EMA a little bit lower down here at 620. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. If this market rotates lower, do we break through this range? Do we break through this area? If we break through this area, where can we look at below that? That's what I'm looking down towards that 100-day EMA. Now on the flip side, where can this thing go? Well, we're still well within value. We caught that bounce on value area low yesterday in this pre-open. We've rallied up to settlement price. Settlement price is pretty closely correlated to point of control, 780 here. Remember, settlement price is down here at 770, so only 10 points apart. If we get through that, going to keep an eye on this overnight high, 12,881. But to get there, we've got yesterday's value area high at 12,812. So I think right now I'm going to be looking at this market in a range-bound state until I'm presented something else, until I show acceptance. And I look for acceptance in multiple different ways. Majority of the time, for me, acceptance is utilized on a 4-hour chart, but we do have to adjust those things. We can look at things a little bit differently. If I'm looking at a 30-minute chart, where am I looking for acceptance? I'm looking probably 2 candlesticks closing on the other side of that. There are certain ways of looking at it to adjust for shorter time frame, because I do know the 4-hour is not always the most beneficial for acceptance. Next, let's go ahead and look at the gold. So gold, as we've been talking for quite a while, we are starting to show weakness, but we've continued to just kind of find a little bit of support right down here by that 1725 approximate level. But this is a trending lower market on the higher time frame, and that's going to be the key thing to think about here, just so we can continue to be cognizant of our moving average. We've got that 20-period moving average right now, or 20-day moving average, all the way up here at 1736. So let's look a little bit closer on this market and see exactly what we've got going on. So here's what I drew up this morning before we had some volatility. The low side of our channel, or our range, or our area that we've been talking about for like 2 weeks now, low side of that range is right here at 1723. 1723. We are starting to try and trade back into that if we can accept in here. And right now you're seeing a lack of exception. We're seeing a lack of excitement. We're seeing a lack of buyers holding this price up above. We've checked our settlement price. We've checked yesterday's points of control. This may be that opportunity that this market's going to say enough's enough. I'm going to start to break on over. I'm going to spill on over. We need to continue to wait and see, does this thing accept? If it accepts, we've got opportunity to the upside. No doubt about that. We've seen this market range from side to side in our channel quite heavily, and that's what I'm going to be continuing to look for in this market. I'm going to have a hard time right now taking the short side, running this thing all the way down, as I continue to just trade around levels that have been very supportive for us, right? We just opened up just a little bit ago. Since we've opened up, we have traded higher. We have brought in more buyers than we have sellers, and we have seen this market slowly uptick. Those are things that I'm going to be thinking about as this market continues to open up. All right, next, go ahead and look at the euro, which has just been on that steady decline for quite some time. We're getting closer to checking low sides of our range. I'm just going to continue to kind of extend things accepted that we've looked at yesterday and that I'm going to continue to keep on our charting. We've obviously accepted below weekly kickoff low, which, just as a reminder, weekly kickoff low was 118.50. We've accepted below that. We are continuing a downward trend here, and that's what I'm going to be looking for when I'm looking for some opportunity in this market. So looking a little bit closer, this market right now, on the other hand, and I say that I'm looking for continuing in the direction on that daily time frame. We got to look a little bit closer to see what we can do here today. And right now, it's telling me it's staying range bound for the time being. Again, that's how I approach the markets. When I sit down, where that market is, what that current state is what I'm going to be trading. I'm not going to trade right now and say, hey, I'm looking for this thing to continue the downward trend. Because for that to be the case, we need to look for the breakout. We're looking for it to start to make new lows. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But if I can sit here and I can define a channel or a range that I can trade within to find some opportunity, that's how I'm going to be successful in these trades. And that's where I'm going to continue to find some opportunity. So we've got settlement price right here at 117.96 even. And I'm going to be utilizing that as a low. As this market continues to kind of approach the highs up here down by the 118.07, 118.10, in that area, in that range, I'm going to continue to watch market reaction. And if it works for me, maybe look lower. If it continues to run up, then we're simply looking at yesterday's value area. Value area high right up here, 118.16. Value area low, which is a low that I like right down here at 117.81. Great areas to be looking for opportunity. I'm going to be range bound in this market until it dictates anything else for the short time frame. And lastly, the 10-year note. I realized this morning, you guys didn't tell me yesterday, I did not put my daily chart together for this. Like I said, I don't ever use dailies on this this platform, and so I don't have one put together, but we'll get this all organized so that next time I'm covered on that one. Like we said, yields are up. Yields and bonds and notes are inversely correlated. Market is trending lower. We are making lower direction here. We do have settlement price because I always want to make sure we know this. 132.04 half as equity markets open. Keep an eye on what's going on with yields. Keep an eye on a little bit of everything, and that's going to help us dictate this market. Remember, it's all about defining levels. We've come and checked into areas. We're trading right now around a prior point of control. Now, this point of control has been checked. This point of control has been traded around. But they continue to be high dollar levels that I'm going to continue to look for opportunity as market reacts around them and as areas to look for possible profit taking. So that's what we got going on in the markets here today, everybody. I hope you guys all have a spectacular day. Remember, it is Friday. The job of Fridays is to take things slow. Be patient with it. Don't rush into anything. All right. So I see some other notes coming in here. Just want to make sure we got everything. All right. Christopher Caesar, good morning to you guys. So like I was saying, with the Nasdaq, right now I'm looking at the live dome. Bid and offer, there is a 1.5 to 2 ticks spread on the June contract. It's the high volume. We are seeing spreads in the bid and offer. This is an illiquid market right now. If you're trying to trade multiple contracts, if you're doing it in sim, it's going to be unsuccessful in live. Our job as traders are to be successful in the live market. So, if you're going to be trading Nasdaq and you're going to be trying to be quick in and out of these markets, you cannot really be expecting to trade size. When we have these spreads in the Nasdaq, it makes it really difficult to trade, and that's why I don't personally trade it very often. Very rarely do I jump into the Nasdaq. When I say rarely, once or twice a week, when I find a good opportunity in that market. I'm not active in it on a daily basis strictly because I don't get the fills that I like. I don't get the fills. I can't trade any size with it because of how thin it can be. So it's something I wanted to stress for you guys. All right, guys. Yes. Cromlu, you've stumbled upon some traders here, and all right, Shady Trader. All right, guys. Vici, I literally just draw it on there. Some platforms allow you to have it as like an indicator, so to speak, that it'll automatically just place it on TS Trader. That's not an option, so I do just draw it on myself every day. But like I say, yeah, some platforms allow you to just click it in there. All right, so oil continues to pop. Equities are getting ready to open here. Stocks are pretty much flat, and gold similar, pretty much flat. So let's go ahead and sign it out of here, guys. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday afternoon. John will be back Monday morning for the market forecast. So thanks for getting through this one the last couple days with me, and John will be back on Monday. Absolutely, Michael. Good advice. NQ acts like Forex markets sometimes. Absolutely. It's important to trade. If you're trading in sim, it's important to trade as though you're training to be a live trader. I don't know anyone else, but that's what I'm here to do. That's where I make real money. So that's what we want to do. So when you are trading in the sim, make sure it's realistic of the live environment. We all know that things can happen. When you are trading a little bit of size, if one fills in the Nasdaq, some platforms on sim may fill you on 10. And there are things like that can happen. So trade as though it's real. All right, guys. I'm signing on out of here. Like I said, happy Friday, happy weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Everybody stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. I look forward to seeing you guys